Welcome, everybody. My name is Ryan Campbell. I'm a manager of demand gen here at CPA Site Solutions. We're excited to share this with you today. We're gonna get started on time today, so you have 1 minute. We'll say one. We'll give you 2 minutes. Let's start at 1:01. Give you a little extra time. So if you want to run and get some water, coffee, whatever, you do have about 2 minutes here until we get started. So I'll give you that time, and then we'll get started. Few more seconds here, and we'll get this started because we're. I know I gave you guys an alert a little late, but I want everybody for being here today. We're really excited to share this with you. We know that tax season's coming up, and there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. And with that, today we're going to talk about dressing your website for success. As I said previously, if you heard me previously, my name is Ryan Campbell. I'm a manager of demand generation at CPA Site Solutions. Presenting the webinar today will be Tila Hall. She's a senior website designer with our company. She's been with us for 6 years. Some interesting information about Tila: when she's not making great websites, she enjoys playing rugby and riding motorcycles. So I wanted to share something a little unique about Tila today. Tila, go ahead and advance to the next slide. So there's 5 different things we're going to review today in the webinar. In today's world, it's so critical for your website to be as good as it can be. That 84% of consumers visit a firm's website before selecting a provider. So you guys don't get a second chance to make that first impression. So some of the things we'll be reviewing today, or Tila will be reviewing today, and just go through, we're going to be reviewing website design best practices, going to be reviewing segments of a successful website. Number 3 here, 4 key ways, to personalize your website. Number 4, checklist for success. And then number 5, we're going to share with you some resources that we've developed over time to help you get in this position to make sure you guys have a great tax season this year. So without further ado here, I will pass the mic over to Tila, our senior designer with our company.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Welcome, everybody. Since Ryan already covered the introduction, we can kind of just dive right in. If there are any questions or if I'm going too fast, feel free to yell at Ryan in the chat over on the right-hand side.
Oh, Tila, sorry, there's one thing I failed to mention here before we get started. So we are going to leave time for questions. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the little box, and I'll read those to Tila at the end of the presentation, and we'll address those as we can. All right, go ahead.
Perfect. All right, awesome. So I had picked this quote because Steve Jobs actually does a great job explaining the 6 pillars of success in one sentence. The bottom line is that your site really doesn't just need to look good, but it should also function correctly. So this presentation of dressing your website up for success, we'll talk about all the best design practices, including functionality. So I know this slide can come across a little bit daunting. However, I really want to talk about these 6 pillars. So the first one is comprehensive. Focus on what you want the user to do and remove any roadblocks to get in touch with you. One click is usually best. Do you want your clients to call you? Do you want them to email you? Maybe you want them to subscribe to your newsletter, or maybe fill out a form. Or just register for your portal. Keep your website simple by eliminating anything that does not serve a purpose. So, for example, maybe rethink having a weather widget or things like that. A couple other items is to use visible and easy to find call to actions. Everything should have a purpose on your site, and your content should be super straightforward and solve problems quicker and effectively. The second pillar is functionality. As I mentioned before, it's extremely important that your site functions. Your site should obviously be working correctly and be organized correctly on all browsers and operating systems. There are broken link checkers that I'll share with you at the end, so you don't feel like you need to check everything manually. But functionality of your site should be smooth without any awkward glitches. Sometimes adding third-party widgets could affect how other items work. So best practice is to really quality check your site after implementing any type of change. A couple other items is to make sure your load time for your site is optimized, the forms and the links are working properly, and everything is running smoothly without, again, any glitches. Make sure it's practical and organized and easy to navigate through. The third pillar would be accessibility. Your site should be responsive, which means it should respond to whatever device you are on. If you are not on a responsive design, I would consider switching, especially if you are on a Flash design, which most browsers no longer support. Things to consider with accessible sites: they should be reachable on every device. They should be understandable for your target audience, and also search engine friendly content. It's also extremely important to be robust for screen readers. For number 4, your site should be current. Your site should be up to date with and maintained regularly. Again, any outdated elements such as Flash and tables should be updated. A couple more bullet points to add to that. It should also be fresh with content, so current content, succeeds the web standards, and is using the latest trends and styles. For number 5, your site should obviously be visually appealing. Research shows that you have a maximum of 12 seconds to catch somebody's attention with your website, so make sure your site is personalized and clear of clutter. So impress your clients with meaningful imagery and avoid any unnecessary clutter. Again, you only have about 2 to 12 seconds to really keep someone on your page and engaged. The next thing is it's nice to personalize your site to match your brand, and we'll talk about that more. Your site should also be usable. Your site should simply be simple to use and easy to use with useful tools and content. It's great to have a great client experience, well-written and readable content, and allows clients to easily contact you. The next thing we'll talk about is the segments of a successful website. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but there are 7 key pieces of the layout to a website that requires thoughtfulness. Now, the first thing is your header, which is your logo area. Your eyes tend to go to the left, so it's very common to have your logo on the left-hand side. The navigation should be clear and concise. The home button is not necessary because your logo should lead back to your home page. We'll again talk about that when we talk about the basic pages we recommend. And then there's the slideshow, which should reflect your services, maybe your location or your brand in some way. Images should be thoughtful. It's not always necessary to have a slideshow, so sometimes just a static image will do. Your call to action is probably the most important thing on your site. It could be a phone number or a form. This site has 2. It has a button for schedule a free consultation, and it also has a subscribe to your newsletter. It could also be social media links, a particular tool that you want clients to use. It's your choice to decide what is the most important point is. And for number 5, your content should be thoughtful and well written, especially on the homepage, since that's the first thing your clients are going to see. And for number 6, your sidebar. Even though a sidebar is not exactly necessary, it's a great place to put your widgets, such as a quick links widget, as you see here, and also you could do an RSS feed or a quick way to log into your portal. And for number 7, your footer should be the closing of your site. It's a great place to add contact forms, and other widgets are fine too. So next thing we'll talk about is the 4 key ways to personalize your website. So the 4 things are strategize, organize, personalize, and customize. And what we mean by strategize is creating a plan and a map to like a roadmap tailored to your target audience. And for organize, arrange your site for the best usability and user experience. And you can personalize your site by adding free personal touches to build trust and credibility. And by customize, we mean design your template to match your brand and stand out. So for strategize, a good question to ask yourself is, do you want to attract clients? Do you want to educate them? You want to create a website that works towards the goals that you want. If they're for current clients, you want to keep that in mind. Now, making a plan. This tip covers your call to action. For, as we mentioned before, what do you want your users to do? You want to make it easier for your users to contact you or use your client retention tools such as calculators, tax center. You just don't want to bury your lead. Next, you want to figure out who your users are and who you are competing with in your area. Also, it's important to note that writing and planning out your content for your audience is important. You may have heard the saying, content is king. Your site with CPA Site Solutions comes with over 3,000 ready-to-go pages. However, you may want to make some tweaks to better target your personal audience. When you're writing your content, kind of ask yourself, are you talking to more a corporate professional audience? Maybe you'll have to use more formal language. Or maybe your audience is young and trendy. You might want to write a little informal and conversational, just to hold their attention. Now, checking out other accounting-based websites may give you an inspiration on how you can improve your website. So make use of whatever you learn. When you're researching, kind of look at the products and services other people are providing and how they market to their clients, their prices they charge, their brand and design values, their staff numbers. Basically, you can also actually ask your current customers using surveys to figure out what they're hoping for on your website. So your target audience. Your target audience is your clients or who you want to be your clients. If your target audience is people maybe over the age of 60, perhaps you want to consider increasing your font size for better readability. Enhance customer loyalty by concentrating on creating a site for your prospect clients or current clients. So again, content is the key to your website, so make sure you refine it to fit your needs. Using what you know about your clients, make sure you're using content and client retention tools that are useful for your clientele. I use this screenshot as an example because I actually use this. How long will it take to pay off my credit card calculator? So this is a good example of what my accountant should have on their site because I would be their target audience. Again. And it is, again, with a call to actions. I'm going to say this a lot in this presentation. It is okay to give users options on how they would like to contact you. See the phone number on the right-hand side, but there's also an online form for them to go ahead and fill out. Just make it easy for them to contact you. Your website should just have a purpose, and whatever your purpose is, make sure it's the most prominent item on your page. So creating a roadmap should be fun and thought out. If you use these 4 kind of key pieces, your site will have a great start to success. So some situation analysts, kind of ask yourself, how does your firm compare? Who are you trying to appeal? And what do you want your website to actually do? And what should users do on your website? Next, we will talk about organizing your website. So you're going to want to organize and arrange your navigation effectively. Structuring your site should be kind of thought out. The billboard approach with taglines where you can grab your client's attention in short words is a great approach. So you want to use the most important tagline. You want to structure your content above the fold so they don't have to scroll to see the most important information. And arrange your navigation effectively. make sure you have top-notch usability and the best client experience. So the billboard approach. This example sums up what this particular accountant does in only 8 words, and it also shows their experience, which develops a sense of trust. So he's serving the White Mountains for over 30 years. Your tagline should be placed in a visible location and one of the first things that you see. And again, you don't have to actually have a tagline if it's not a thoughtful one. Maybe it's doing more damage. So removing it is also an option. Another examples that I've seen, tax accounting is what we do best. You're busy enough with the rest. Or if you're a bookkeeper, you could do books a mess, no problem, something like that. In this example, you can see the call to action form, the content that describes what the accounting firm does and where they're located. You can even see the social media links and get quick access to their services. So you kind of see a lot of information and it's all above the fold. So to organize your website content into like logical categories, you could use a restaurant as an example, like a restaurant menu. Most menus are usually divided into categories and subcategories. So pastas go with pastas, burgers go with burgers, etc. Very sensible. So you just want to make sure your navigation is sensible. Your navigation should be in your client's best interest. It's also recommended to create a separate pages for each services. So instead of having a long list of what you offer, maybe create a page for each service. Also, in most cases, it's best to keep your navigation to no more than 3 levels deep. Just a fun fact. So visitors come to your site with certain goals in mind. It's your job to help them reach these goals as quickly as possible. Usability means test and test and test again. So good usability is not attained overnight. You only perfect usability by listening to your clients. Remember, what makes sense to you might actually not make sense to your clientele. They might be trying to use their site on just their mobile phone, whereas you're using it on your laptop. So you want to structure your content when you first sit down and start to pull together your content for your website. It's best to write down a solid structure. You should already know what's going to be included, so create a document where you can easily write the content. For example, what's going on the home page. Are you including an About Us page? If not, you definitely should. Also consider if you're including any images, and pick out the ones that you want to use. Make it easy to scan your pages, so do not write like 1 paragraph per page. I guess, yeah, 1 paragraph per page is about 1,000 words long. Just break up your text into some sections. So for user experience, I've said this a couple times, so I didn't really define it. A couple rules to good user experience. Don't make the users think. Create quality forms, going back to effective call to actions. Remember that white space is your friend. It's okay to have a lot of white space. Keep your site interesting to your user, and make sure you know your goals. And come up with a strategy before figuring out the design. So if you are not already on a mobile friendly, let's make sure we try to upgrade you to a new responsive design. No matter what service level you have, you can always have a responsive design with us. A couple don'ts. When visitors come to your site with certain goals in mind, it's basically you want to make sure that you don't use unrelated content. You don't want to have too many navigation options or tabs. And you certainly don't want to steal content or designs from people in the local area. You want to stand out from other people. Another good rule of thumb is to not overuse design elements like fonts and colors. You want to do it sort of subtle to match your brand. So the next thing we'll talk about is personalizing your site. Oops. Don't come across all stiff and boring by being too corporate. So do show your personality, because people are just people. Show what you're, show that you're human by adding some personality to your web copy wherever possible. So 561 shows all the widgets and add-ons that you could possibly add to any template. Most of these are free to add to your site, so make sure to check that site out. You can use all these add-ons that are useful for your business. If you do not specialize in doing taxes, perhaps the tax countdown is not exactly the one you use, but you should replace it with something else. So here's a list of other widgets that you can use, and I can send you a link with everything on there. Adding a map to localize your website is a great idea. Only use if your location is important to you. If you are targeting people in New York, you should add some photos of New York. So if location is not as important as showing your services, then pick imagery that best describes what you do. If you specialize in small business accounting and financial planning for startups, perhaps business photos of ideal clients would be the best fit in your slideshow. Or perhaps you just want to show your personality. For example, going for humor is a great way to personalize your site. So I was showing you examples of showing your location, expressing your personality, appealing to your target market, and highlighting what you want to be doing or what services you offer. So adding your 5 core pages. I highlighted home, about, services, customer reviews, and contact us as pretty important pages to add. Personalizing your content, keep your values in mind. Some people end up writing content that shows no value. Remember, websites should build trust and credibility, so keep your company values in mind and get them across in your copy. We have default content for each of these pages. However, it would be awesome if you find time to personalize them. We have a new page called Reputation Marketing where your clients can add testimonials. Nothing adds credibility like a recommendation from one of your existing customers, and adding testimonials to your website to reassure new visitors. We can also add a testimonial slider to your homepage. So the next thing we'll talk about is customizing your site. Your template does not have to be just a templated site. You can customize every aspect. So we'll talk about the 4 packages that we offer. We offer an a la carte branding package, which is billed by hour, a use your own design, a premium custom, and a full custom. So a couple things, why you should customize your website. You'll want to showcase your brand, attract the right clients, stand out from the crowd, and build instant rapport. So for a la carte, for a small fee, we can adjust colors and fonts. We can always change the color of your logo for free to match your template, but we can also match your template to your logo for a small fee. A la carte services might be for you if your site is like almost perfect, but you want to add a couple more aspects to it. So using your own design, our site manager is our site editing tool. It offers flexibility to accommodate many different types of layouts. So one of our experienced HTML and CSS experts will translate your design that you have created elsewhere and integrate it with our tools and content. This process usually takes 5 to 10 business days to complete and starts at only $6.95. So our premium design, you can choose any one of our responsive design templates and custom color palette to match your brand. A full custom site is a built from scratch one. So this process takes is a little longer, but awesome if you're interested. If you don't want to do a full custom, a premium is the next step down, which we can usually get any template to sort of look like what you need. So a full custom site is built from scratch. This process, again, takes a little bit of time. If none of our templates really catch what you're going for, we can do a couple mock-ups for you and talk about doing a full custom site. So next we'll talk about a checklist for success. So a couple items for the checklist for success. You'll want to strategize your roadmap, so kind of answer those questions that we were talking about earlier, what you want your users to do, who is using your site, who you are up against, and is everything on your site actually serving a purpose? I did say I was the second item for linking your logo back to your homepage. You actually, again, don't need the home in your navigation. It takes up space and is repetitive because your logo should link back to your homepage. To add a 404 page, a good custom 404 page will help people find the information they're looking for. Sorry, excuse me. As well as providing other helpful content and encouraging them to explore your site further. We have a free default one that we can add for you. XML sitemaps are free and important for SEO because they make it easier for Google to find your site pages. This is important because Google ranks web pages, not just websites. There's no downside of having an XML sitemap, so you just want to send a request to make sure your site has one. The next thing I want you guys all to do is add the reputation marketing feature. A positive client review is invaluable. This free add-on is available for all of our packages. All you have to do is add the page into your site manager. It allows you to remain in control of client reviews and showcasing the most positive reviews to to your prospective clients right on your website. Sorry about that. The next thing I want you guys to do is kind of choose widgets that make sense for you guys. If you would like to see all the widgets available to you, again, 561 shows almost all the widgets. We can also send you an email with all the widget choices in an email. Create a page for each service. So by default, all your services have pages, but if you had customized it, you may need to rewrite that section. You can also choose your own, so that for number, let me make sure. Yep. Choose your own tagline. We can send you a couple example taglines, but maybe this is some kind of fun you guys can have at your firm and kind of talk about a good tagline for your organization. The next thing, spell check your site. You could go to checkdog.com. That's CHECKDOG.com. And what this will do is run your site through a spell checker and just make sure that your site is coming across professional. Including links within your page copy is not only great for SEO, but it's also great for the user experience. So clients can click through very easily to find what you're talking about. The next thing is running a broken link checker. Our webmaster team can do this for you, but you can also do this as well. If you go to brokenlinkcheck.com and just make sure your site is functioning correctly with no broken links. So I do want everyone to pull out your phone and check your site to make sure everything is easy and clickable on your mobile site. If it is possible that there are some errors on your mobile site, so we definitely want to get those fixed for you because not everybody checks their site on their mobile device. If you do not have a mobile-friendly site, I definitely suggest you kind of check out our 300 ready-to-go sites and kind of pick a new template. And if you need ideas for that, I'm pretty good at figuring out what template looks similar to the one you currently have. And next, so if you want to change your default images, if you still have default images in your templates, as we mentioned in the personalized section, for free, you can change out your images to all your slideshows. If location is important, let's showcase where you're from. For your call to action, you also want to figure out what you want your users to do. I hope you guys have been kind of thinking about this. If you want them to use your portal, or want them to just subscribe to the newsletter, or just contact you, or maybe just call you, you want to make sure that call to action is the most important thing on your site. And next, to personalize your contact page, so make sure your map, there's a Google map on your contact page. We could also add a get directions button, and we can add your hours, imagery of your office, kind of whatever works for you. We just want to make sure that page is pretty personalized, because it's probably the second most popular page on your site. And then next, if you can, everybody create an about page. It's a great way to figure out who you are and to kind of tell your firm story. And next, I will have Ryan go ahead and talk about some resources right here. And if you have any questions, he will talk to you about that. Ryan, you over there?
That's right. Yes, I am. Thanks, Tila. That was great. So guys, as Tila mentioned, we have a lot of questions coming up about a recording. Yes, we are going to have a recording of this webinar, so if you missed the first part, want to catch up, you can download this later, and Yasmina will be emailing everybody that attended today a link to the download of this, to view this recording of this webinar. So let's go ahead and get started with questions. So Tila, the question that we had come up, so why would someone need a 404 page?
So a 404 page is usually landed on if you had a page there, but it was deleted, or maybe you changed the link. And basically, it's an oops page. You don't actually want clients to go there. By default, it brings you to a white page with nothing on it. This does it for every site, no matter if you have a site with somebody else. It'll take you to a white page with nothing on it. It just says, oops, this page no longer exists, and there's no way to get back to your home page. A custom 404 page will, ours is kind of cute. It has a calculator with, it says 404 on the calculator, and just says we've calculated an error, but it's still on your website. So if somebody needs to get back, they can just click your logo or your navigation like they would. They never actually leave your site. So the custom 404 page is just so you don't have people leaving your site.
All right, we have another question here. So they said that one of their designer friends said it's important for their website to be responsive. They already have a mobile website. What's the importance of it being responsive versus just having a mobile version and a desktop version?
Right, so that's a good question, because there is a big difference. So our responsive sites, that's what I would recommend going to, because what they do is they adapt on every screen that you could use. So if you're using a tablet, it squishes down, and if you use your mobile, no matter what type of mobile, it will squish down to fit the device properly. Where a mobile page is just one page on your site. It might work in tablet, but it will not look quite like your site. It will have basic information, kind of like your address, maybe a couple buttons, but once they click in, they're going to get your non-responsive site, and it will be hard for them to read it. So this is just an easy user experience issue that we can completely fix. And I would love to take a look at your site and see if we can maybe talk you into maybe a responsive site. A very similar one, and not make too many changes to it, but yeah, good question.
This is Ryan, and I'll just follow up to what Tila said. And you guys have probably seen it too. Is we live in a multiple device world now. I mean, people go from a tablet to a phone to a laptop, even to a desktop, and all of these different touch points can lead up to someone giving you a call or filling out a form on your website. So it's important that they have that, similar experience across all of the devices. And when your website's responsive, they do have that. And so it's hard to keep that experience consistent when you don't have a responsive website. Okay, we have a question coming from Neil, and he said, is a landing page standard with any of the templates?
So If you're meaning like a PPC landing page with just a form, no navigation, no, it's not a standard page that we offer. We offer that with our PPC package, but we also do a custom design landing page, and usually they start about the $195 price range. If you're interested in the PPC package, we can definitely get you a landing page. If you're talking about more like a welcome page or a home page, all websites do have a home page or a welcome page. We call it a graphic intro page here. Hopefully that answers that.
I think so, Neil. If you have any follow-up to that, go ahead and put it in the box and we can address it as well. Let's see. This one is coming from Katie. So how do you know what features your site currently has?
Good question. So if you actually, you'd have to pull up your site and kind of do a quality check is what I would call it. You could squish it down to see if it is responsive, and if it adapts to your window, it is a responsive design. If it never changes, it means it's not responsive. You can also tell by sort of widgets. If you look at 561, that's a really good example. It showcases all of our widgets, like our countdown widget, newsletter, subscription. And the call to action, you should be able to tell if your site has a call to action by some of the examples that I had provided, big buttons, phone number, and stuff like that. But I would be happy to take a look at your site, and if anybody would like that, if you want to email your site to custom design at CPA Site Solutions, that goes to the design team, and we can take a look at your site and make sure that you are using all of the features. I think other ones like the reputation marketing, we'll make sure that you're on that one as well.
Okay, we have another question here, Tila. So you mentioned call to action multiple times throughout the presentation. Do I need to have that on every page of my site?
Usually it's really popular to keep it consistent in the header. The top right part of your header is the most popular. It would be nice to have a big button, a phone number, as long as it's not too overwhelming. Like, you don't want to have a slideshow on every page with a big form on it, but a subtle button top right is usually the most popular place on all your pages of your site. Also, you could also put a form on, if you have a sidebar, we can put a form on your sidebar.
And Tila, what would you say is the most, I mean, obviously we design a lot of websites for accountants. What would you say is like the most popular or common call to action across our customers?
Yeah, I would say it's the free consultation form because it's easy. Okay. You don't have people calling you all the time, but you do have people emailing you specific requests right on with using that form. And usually instead of doing a button, having the form on your site somewhere is the best way to do that, so they don't have to click twice to get there. Okay.
Let's see, guys. I'm not seeing any other questions from the audience. I'm going to do one final call here, and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah, we'll give it a minute. Actually, think about some questions. I'm going to wrap it up, and if I see any come through the queue, if I don't, then we'll close it. So as this last slide that Tila has up here, you can see we have plenty of resources available. If some of you are just being introduced to CPA Site Solutions for the first time, we have a lot of information that you can review and download for free. You can see we have a blog, which we update regularly. Right now, we have what's called a Road to Tax Season series that we're putting out a new weekly blog post. It goes over various tips. Like what we just released today is making sure, it's very similar to what Tila talked about, making sure your website's mobile friendly, that it loads fast, that all those things are happening. So you guys are ready for tax season. We have obviously this webinar and many other available that you can access. We have white papers, a variety of different white papers that has a lot of valuable information. One of our newest white papers that we just released is a benchmark study we did across a group of accountants to determine what kind of marketing they're doing. So if you're kind of looking for, you know, kind of a barometer to see where you're at and where your peers are at, this is a great piece of information that you can say, oh, you know, should I be doing more Facebook marketing? Should I be doing maybe more PPC SEO? You can see what your peers are doing and what they're having success with. Also along these lines, Yasmina is going to include a link along with the recording of this. We're offering a promotion for the entire month of December on all our custom premium websites. You can get 20% off this month. Tila, this is one of the products that Tila highlighted earlier. So for this month, 20% off, and there'll be a link to that so you can review more information and look at that. But obviously, you guys are all aware it's a great time to get your website in a good position so you can be ready to have a really good tax season. I didn't see any other questions come up in the queue, so we are going to wrap up, guys. Thank you, everybody, for attending today. Hope you got some useful information and some actual information to help keep growing your firm and have a good holiday season in the new year.